Hey everyone, Ethos here. I am excited to announce that I won my first locals over this past weekend, and I wanted to make a video kind of just to give an update on like how it went, and also to give a deck list of the deck that I was playing that allowed me to get the win. So I'm relatively new to Digimon TCG. I played a little bit of it online through tabletop, but I didn't really know what I was doing. Then I decided on getting into the physical card game after I found out that there were locals that were playing around me. So there was an active community of people, so I felt like it was worth trying it out. I've learned a lot about the game. I've played in a couple locals, and this is the first time I actually got first place, and I got it flawlessly. So I didn't lose one round. I actually 2-0'd each of my opponents. I had to go against 3 different opponents, and I won every single one of them 2-0 and didn't lose one. I was using the MetalGarurumon X antibody deck. Very strong deck. I would argue it's definitely tier 1 after playing it. I definitely feel like I played really well, but I also feel like it was kind of a luck of the draw that the decks that I played against, none of them were really necessarily hard counters to my deck, as I feel like I would have struggled a lot more. But without further ado, let's get into the deck list. All right, so before we get into the deck list, I first want to just tell you guys what I went up against that allowed me to get 6-0. So my first opponent was, of course, an Alphamon deck. I was kind of scared going into this matchup for my first match because I had a little bit of practice with this deck online, but I only had maybe 1 or 2 chances to test out against Alphamon. A lot of it I was going against like Mastamon, and that's what I was expecting to see. But luckily, there were no Mastamon decks because I hate that deck. I think I really just got lucky because I feel like it's a toss-up. Both decks are aggro and do the exact same thing. So really, I feel like it comes down to whoever gets their stack first and is able to swing first or counter the other person first basically wins. The second opponent that I played against, I also 2-0'd, was a War Greymon deck, but he didn't add in the X antibody. He told me he didn't feel like it was worth it for the deck, so instead he just added in the regular War Greymon that basically has security protection like built into it. And then the final person I played against, I was terrified of this person too because I've played against him before and he always ran Mastamon, so I was terrified he was using that deck again. They played blue-yellow, which was very surprising. I wasn't expecting that, and I never saw that deck before, so I was very like, what am I playing against? So it was really a learning experience in real time of me trying to understand what deck I was going up against. But he was basically using a Sakuyamon deck, which I give props to. I love that Digimon. He did try to make it more competent by mixing blue into it with like Patamon and Angelomon and what is it, the kettle dude, I forgot his name, porcelain Digimon, I forgot its name. Yeah, so that's basically the breakdown of the decks that I went against. No hybrid decks, no security control. Those decks I feel like I would have a way harder time because a lot of them deal with like early game aggression and slowly burning your security and then going for the win before you can get your stack out. So I kind of got lucky, but that's just the luck of the draw. I feel like if I go into another locals that does have those decks, I'm pretty sure I probably won't go flawless. But if I do go flawless again, then I know the deck's really, really good. But I feel like those are its weaknesses. So without further ado, I'm sorry for taking so long. Let's just get into the deck list. I want to give a little bit of context before I begin with this by saying that obviously this deck list is not like this is 100% the way you need to build this deck, and if you don't build this deck this way, you're guaranteed to lose. I'm not going to say that at all. What I will say is that it's really, really going to be dependent on what you see at your locals, and you can shift the deck and take stuff out. This was just the first iteration of the deck that I built the way I built it out. It may change for you. It's all dependent on what you decide. So to start, we have 4 Tsunomon. This is for our eggs. There are people who do throw a 5th Demi-Vmon as their 5th egg. I'll be honest with you, I didn't. In none of my matches did I ever run out of eggs. Like at most I went through like 3 of them and I never got to the 4th. So for that entire locals, I just did not run this. But if you do feel like they're killing your stacks a lot fast and you're going through your eggs a lot, then I would just add the Demi-Vmon. Again, all preference. Let's start with our rookies. So we're running pretty much just straight up Gabumons. There's nothing else in the rookie lineup. No, what is it called? MetalGarurumon or whatever it is, because I feel like it kind of goes against what the deck is. This is an aggro deck. Its whole purpose is to get you a big stack to go out on the board and basically swing and end the entire battle in 1 turn or 2 turns. So it is an OTK deck. So we're running 4 Gabumon. This is from BT5. I think that's Battle of Omni. This is your searcher. You need to have 4 of this. This is basically what you on play want to play first turn. If you see this in your hand first turn, you're pretty much going to feel like you're going to be pretty much set. Next, so you might be saying, well, if that's not the one you want to put it into the breeding, well, which one is it? Well, we're going to use 4 of this Gabumon. This Gabumon is from the, what's it called? It's from one of the starter decks, the one with like Vidramon. Anyways, yeah, he's in this deck. I think you get like 2 copies of him or 4 copies of him in a deck. I'm pretty sure. You either get 4 or 2 of them. I can't remember. Anyways, the reason we use him is because his inherited is very, 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 very good. His inherited is low-key the best, and from like all the Gabumon we're going to show here, obviously because he is the only one that has the inherited, but he's definitely the one you want to put in your raising area because he makes it where if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, your Digimon will get 1,000 DP. And this deck, you're going to be drawing so much that you're probably going to have 8 cards in your hand by the time you get your full stack. And the reason why this is good is because this is all turns. So that means it's not even just your turn when you're attacking, it's all turns. So I can't tell you how many times I had a big stack out with like whether it was like metal or they were trying to delete my stack. And they tried to run into them, but they couldn't because I had this extra 1,000 DP. And it was just the extra 1,000 I needed that they just didn't have enough card options or power to get rid of it. So yeah, definitely highly recommend you want to have 4 of that. You want to see that in your hand always. That's always great to start off with building your stack. We're running 4 copies of Gabumon X Antibody. Of course, I actually just got this all art. Since I won the tournament with this deck, I saw this was in a binder as a single, so I with the winnings, I did definitely, I picked this up. Great card. Again, this card along with this card is incredible because a lot of times what I've done or what I did was turn 1, I would play this Gabumon onto the field, or even better, if I went second, which is even better in my mind, even with this deck, which is funny because a lot of people wouldn't say that for an aggro deck, but I would like they usually give me 3 to 4 memory. I would start by playing this Gabumon. I'd then check my top 3, and then I would X Antibody, which gives me 1 draw for Digimon, or for Digi-Evolution, so you're drawing, and so that's helping you get to that 8 stack, and then on top of that, you then check your top 3 again. So now you're checking again, so you've gone through literally about 6 cards in your deck with these 2. You in 1 turn, you've literally siphoned through 6 of your top cards of your deck, and you're finding the pieces you need because these 2 search exactly the pieces you need. Your WereGarurumons, your Garurumons, your Omnimons, like your MetalGarurumons, like everything you're gonna find in your deck that you need from a Digimon standpoint, these 2 are gonna find for you. So moving into champions, we're gonna run 3 copies of this Garurumon from BT5. I think this is also Omni. Really great card. Actually came out quite a bit for me to help me out. Again, why this card's great is 2 reasons. One, it's his base Digivolve ability, and then it's his inherited. This is the same effect inherited ability that the other, the Gabumon I told you about earlier, where all turns, if you have a Garurumon or Omnimon, you get 1,000. So there were so many times with my stack that I'd have this, and I'd also have the Gabumon underneath it, that like, which is pretty funny. I would actually be swinging for an extra 2,000. So instead of what is like a 12,000 metal, it's a 14,000 metal. And when they try to like, or a blocker, it's a 14,000 blocker. So having that all turns is really powerful. It stops people from trying to just ram over your Digimon and forces them to use more cards or build a more powerful stack. And a lot of times, at least the decks I went against, they just didn't have that capability. So yeah, we're gonna be running also 3 of this Garurumon. This is the promo Garurumon. This is the expensive part of the deck. These cards cost like 10 apiece, unfortunately. This is the guy you want in raising. This is the guy you want to build in your stack. You can use this. Sometimes this does help. Like if you just have no choice, obviously just use it. But this is the one you really want to see because this is what's going to help you get those 8 cards in your hand. So every time you swing, you're going to draw a card. And the whole idea of this deck is that you're going to swing, unsuspend, swing, unsuspend, swing, unsuspend. So every time you do that, you're drawing a card. So guaranteed by the time you swing for your second attack, you're probably going to have 8 cards or more. And you're going to have that huge card advantage against your opponent. And that's what's going to really allow you to succeed and really like speed ahead when they're still like maybe they're like 2 to 3 cards behind you technically. And then finally for the last of the champions, we're running 4 copies of Garurumon X Antibody. Fantastic card. You need it. This is the card that's going to protect you from hitting security Digimon that could kill your stack. And of course, we're running the 4 Weregarurumons. This is another expensive card of the deck, a promo. Sorry, but you need this. I think this is a necessity. Also, you need 4 copies of X Antibody Weregarurumon. This card's goated. Finally, the last one. Experimenting with this, 1 copy of Weregarurumon Sagittarius. Now, some people don't run this, some people do. I will tell you that he's kind of unnecessary, but like I kind of personally used him. Like he actually came in clutch for like one of my rounds where I like basically took it really fast because I had Were first. And I drew him from the Digi-Evolution, so I just Digivolved on top. There's no reason you shouldn't before you swing because it gives you an extra 1,000, and on top of that, you're gonna get the security. So you're gonna get security, and he has the inherited of protection from battle. So you not only have your Garurumon X Antibody, but now he also can give you the protection on top of that. And then that's gonna give you more gas, because now you have 2 level 5s, which then as we talk about this, as we go further into the next stage, you're gonna have like literally so many sources to protect yourself from like hitting, anything dangerous. It's gonna be insane. So yeah, that takes care of all of our ultimates. Now let's talk about the goats of the deck. So to start off, we're running 2 copies of MetalGarurumon EX2. I think this is from, or EX1, I'm sorry. This is from Classic Collection, I think. Really good Digimon. I think a lot of people underplay this card, and I think a couple of people don't really see its full potential. Not only does it give you memory back, but it also goes into our X Antibody, which I think is important. When you play this card, you should definitely have 8 cards in your hand. Like you should. With all the different draw capabilities and stuff of the deck, you should definitely have 8 cards in your hand. If you don't, it's kind of not worth playing this card unless you have a minimum of 4, because you want the first ability where basically you're going to get memory back for every 4 cards in your hand. So usually you're going to have 8 cards, you're going to get 2 memory. So this is only a 2 cost technically. This card is really good, and it also goes into our second card, which we need, which is our MetalGarurumon X Antibody. We're running 3 of these bad boys. This is goated. This card is so good. It clutched me so many games and gave me board wipes and got rid of a troublesome card that was irritating me. Really phenomenal card, especially when you overlay it on this. A lot of people will just hard cast this on top of just like X Antibody Garurumon, which you can do if you just don't have one. But the best scenario ever, the most massive stack I had, it was like, I'll show you at the end of this video, was I had everything hooked up. Like I had this, I had all this like MetalGaru into this. So like what I did was like I would swing with MetalGarurumon, right? I would kill okay, so this is what's really sick. This is like really sick. I'm sorry, I love the combos of this deck. So you can do metal like this, swing. If they have a deletion card that's like wants to die or something like that, you can pop it, make it go back to their deck, and then get rid of their cards, which is really helpful. This is good too, because if you're going against like cards that are like, oh, I want to die, then you're like, no, you're not going to die, not today. But you swing, because of your inherited, you're probably swinging with this, you're probably swinging for 2 security. So, and this is on top of, you've probably already swung with like Weregarurumon and Garurumon X. So if we're really thinking about it, you've probably already swung 3 times. Yeah, and then the X would have given you 2 more swings. So yeah, you would have probably already swung for 3. So this is like your 4th swing. If you haven't already hit them with maybe a Gabumon early game or something like that, they're already crying in the car with like 1 security left, probably because of this. So they think they're like, it's it might be, GG. But really, like, you get this out and you hit and you pop something if you're lucky. But if they're at this point, they're at like 1 security. 9 out of 10 times, they only have 1 security left. Then you just Digivolve him into MetalGarurumon, and then you have a choice. Either you can just swing it and just get rid of their last security, and again, like just wipe all their security out. They'll have no security left at that point unless you hit a bomb. But the other thing is, like, if you are having to play defensive, you can just keep this untapped, and you can do that to have a blocker. So he can block 2 for you, which is amazing. So the great ability of just saying when he unsuspends, he gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. And then on top of that, anytime he unsuspends, so anytime at all you unsuspend this Digimon, he's going to take their lowest Digimon. If you have a MetalGarurumon, I don't know why I keep MetalGarurumon or an X Antibody in the stack, you can take their lowest cost and send it to the bottom of their deck. And then, cause them to trash the rest of their Digi-Evolutions, which is amazing. This card has saved me so much. I'm not even lying. All these cards are targetable by searching effects in this deck, so you're guaranteed, like, you're going to be able to find them and get what you need when you need it. And that almost takes care of all of them. We have honestly, what I believe is the GOAT of the deck. This is the card that I would say without a doubt, it won multiple rounds for me, like, or added so much pressure that the opponent just gave up. And that's Blitz Omni. This card's goated. Some people only run one. I say no. You want to run two of this. Simply because one of this card doesn't give you enough consistency to like get it. But I'm telling you, the amount of times early game where I like searched and I found one of these cards was awesome. And if I saw the second one, I would just throw it to the bottom. I was like, I don't need this. But usually every game I saw him at least once and he won the game for me. I can't tell you how many times we got to the end where like literally it was this on the field and I swung again and they had no security left and I was at 0 memory, right? And it was looking, like the opponent was like, okay, well, he can't finish me here. And then I just went Blitz Omni and I won. Like, and that's literally all this card is. This is literally your finisher. The opponent thinks it's, they're safe. And then you just, they kind of know it's happening. Like at that point, if you have Omni in your hand, you pretty much know like, all right, they know that their time is coming to an end. Okay, so let's move into the Tamers now. This is where it gets interesting. Running 3 copies of the Cool Boy for the Cool Boy engine. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You want this because the deck has so many antibodies in the deck, from your rookies with Gabumon, from your champions with Garurumon, with your Garurumons, and from your MetalGarurumons. Like every single level has an X antibody. So getting this out is great. However, I will warn you, the thing I learned the hard way, be careful not to rush these out just because you have them in your hand, because people are running Death Xmon and they want you to put these out because this is just giving them -3 cost, -3 cost, -3. And unfortunately, I was stupid enough to put 2 of these on the field with a memory tamer, and I was giving them like a Death X for like cheap. 2 Davis is your memory tamer. Stupid expensive. I hate this, how expensive this card is. Good for a couple reasons. I know some people try Hero. No. The reason why this card's better is because you need the search. The search is what matters. And then finally, this is kind of a place card. Like you can replace this, honestly, whatever your preference. I've been testing this, which is Matt and Sora. Only came out once or twice in all 6 of my matches, simply because it was in security and they hit it. And if it's in security, you're like, okay, cool, whatever. This card's pretty decent because sometimes people will, if you don't have Davis, this is like a nice, like, oh, okay, well, I don't have Davis, but this might, slow my opponent down. You are playing in an OTK meta and you are playing against a lot of X antibody decks like Wargreymon and also Alphamon, and these decks will let them draw. So there's a high chance they're going to have big hands. The other thing is this does scare your opponent to not have 8 cards in their hand, so it might force them to play more of their hand faster to avoid hitting that threshold to give you more memory. The second part of the ability, where like you can take a level 3 and return to the hand, not that good. Because everyone's hiding in the raising area. The second ability ever happened like for me at all. But its first ability of just getting extra memory was really good. It did help me basically close out the game to go into like MetalGarurumon, X antibody, and then go to Omnimon. It gave me enough memory. It gave me 4 memory to start, which did give me a good advantage to win the game. If you would rather use Hero, go for it. Just replace it with this Hero. But I don't know. I feel like 3 memory tamers is a bit much from what I've needed, and that's because we have extra memory here. So we're using 2 copies of Blue Memory Boost. Some people run 3. Honestly, it's your preference. So like I said, if you want to, you could take this out and just get the extra memory boost, because it is only 3 costs instead of 4, so you're technically saving 1 extra bit of memory. If I would do that, I would just get an all art version of, or alternative art of, the Blue Memory Boost from one of those promo whatevers. Running 2 copies of X Antibody. This is pretty straightforward. Honestly, I might throw a 3rd one in the deck. I can't tell you how many times this card was busted for me, because the amount of times you unsuspend and swing is broken, because you can unsuspend, swing, and then have X antibody underneath, and then before you swing, and then this digivolves it into the next level, which digivolves the next. And this isn't once per turn. This can keep popping over and over and over again. So you can go up the entire line by just swinging, digivolve, swinging, digivolving, swinging, digivolve. So like really busted. And then finally, 1 copy of Ice Wall. You need this. There are going to be times where you're running a little bit behind or you're a turn behind and you just need to stall them for one more turn. So you need to just put a threat out there just to like stop them from hitting you and trying to kill you in one turn. So if you know how the opponent's deck's going to work and you know that they're going to try to go to like one turn kill you that turn, just lay this out there and it's basically a threat. It's also a security bomb too. Like you can just, if you're lucky, it's in security, which actually happened with me. Some guy swung into my security. I got +2 memory, brought it to 1, and that stopped his turn, and then I got back up to 3, and then I just swung back and won the game. And you might be wondering then, what the heck is this last card? Because if you're counting. So this is the spice card of the deck. This is a card that I added just for the extra spice. Actually came in clutch one round that gave me the extra speed to catch up. So this is what I call the catch-up card, because it's red. And that is a offensive plugin A. This card is crazy because it stays on the Digimon for the whole turn. So a lot, like I did an actual play where I had Garurumon out on the field and I brought it out with Where. And I was behind. I think I only had 3 security left, but I was behind. But I brought Rare out and then I just popped this first and I put X antibody underneath and I had offensive plugin. So Where was swinging for 2 security. I swung. I took out 2 bits of their security with uncontested. And then the X antibody went, it went into antibody Garurumon, and then he swung for 3 security. So that did his entire field. He was done. Like with only 2 strikes, I basically wiped out their entire security because the Where swung for 2 security, and then because I went into Garurumon X antibody, he hasn't inherited, so he's already swinging for 2. Plus this would have given him 3, so he's swinging for 3. And then, you know, that's pretty much GG because at that point they had nothing left, and then I could just go wherever I wanted at that point. So, you know, you could go into MetalGarurumon, which is what I did. I went into MetalGarurumon first, which gave me some memory back, and then I just digivolved on top of that. Which is kind of insane. But I will show you pretty much like the ultimate stack. I actually achieved this in a game. So we had a Gabumon here, we X-antibodied, we had Garurumon here, and then we X-antibodied the Garurumon. Then we had Where Garurumon here, Sagittarius. So already like, it's already massive, right? Like I'm gonna have to like literally like move this down. But yeah, like this was like the stack I think I had when I brought it out of Raising. Like when I brought it out of Raising, this is what the stack looked like. So it was already looking pretty scary and I was swinging with this stack. And then, of course, we went even further. We went into X antibody. And then we had Metal Gray, or MetalGarurumon, which was already, if it wasn't bad enough, it just keeps getting worse. And then we went into Metal, and then we went into Omni. This was an actual stack that I actually achieved during locals. I swung at least like, I think 4 times with this stack. You're getting draws, so I drew 4 additional cards out of the deck. Then on top of that, we have 2 different abilities of protection from battle. So, and on top of that, the sources, we have 2 level 3s, so that's a source, 2 level 4s, that's a source, 2 level 5, 3 level 5s, that's another source. And then you have 2 level 6s for the Omni. So Omni's ability is basically like, yo, if you try to delete me or take me back to my hand or my deck or something like that, I can take a level 6 off of the stack and you can't do it. So that's 2. So you're surviving pretty much anything. The only thing that can kill this entire setup that literally my opponent was able to do, because I basically told them, the only way you could stop this is by DP reduction, is by just hitting with DP. But this is 15k, so you're gonna have to waste an extreme amount of resources to get that much amount of reduction. And that's on top of like, if by the grace of God, I haven't depleted a majority of like your assets already, or like your field if you have a Digimon. But I think if you get this far into the game, like if you have something this massive, you're gonna win. You already have a crazy powerful Digimon that's gonna be hard for people to swing over. That, you know, probably on the opponent's turn, this thing's already swung. Like they're either gonna have to just swing at your security immediately and try to finish you off. And if they don't have the memory, it's not gonna help. And again, like I said, like even if you didn't have Omni here, like you might have Metal out, and this is still an insane, insane level of protection from battle. So like I can't even tell you, like one time my opponent had a very strong stack, so I just literally had Metal swing into it. We had the same DPs, but, you know, I lived. because of the effect. So I just sacrificed a little bit so I could survive. And then on top of that, they tried to get rid of it with like an 11k, but they couldn't because, or like with a 12k to swing into it. And I was like, no, because of Gabumon down here, he's at 13k, which is really awesome. And then if you're really getting spicy with it, if you don't have the draw one, but you do have this Garurumon instead, your MetalGarurumon X antibody is going to get another 1,000 DP. So it's technically going to be at 14,000. And then Omnimon is going to be at 16,000. And for a aggro deck to hit 16,000, they're going to have to do a lot. And if you already obliterate their stack, they're not even on the field. They're in raising trying to build this stack again. And at most, because I think every single time I got to the stack or close to it, I think I left the enemy on like 4 or less memory. I think usually. Yeah, they don't have a lot of memory to work with. Like, that's 2 memory just to get to champion. To get to ultimate, they're going to waste the rest of that memory, and they're essentially going to be doomed by that next turn. So they're either going to have to waste up, go Death Xmon or something like that. Like, an opponent did do that to me. Like, I did have something like this out where I did have an Omnimon out, but, like, they Death X'd me. But I was like, oh, okay. So they took me down, but I was still back to, like, metal. And I had another stack building already on this side. So I built into another MetalGarurumon. I just kept swinging. And that's what won me the game. So, yeah, that's the deck list for the deck that helped me win locals. I know this was a very long video with a lot of insights into how you can play the deck. If you enjoyed my insights or you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video, subscribe. I'll try to post some more Digimon videos or something else. I don't know. We'll see what I post. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck list, the breakdowns, the combos, the whole deep dive analysis on the deck. And yeah, I'll catch you guys around. All right, peace out, everybody.